All right, we're moving over to what we call the Mbawula Chat. You'll find out more about what that is. That will be facilitated by Bulelani. But I'm going to introduce our speaker, our incredible speaker, a friend of the family, Mr. Derrick Ndzavi, certified business advisor for over 22 years. Managing Director of the Institute of Business Advisors, Southern Africa. He's also an ADR practitioner. He's with us in the building. This is an individual, a businessman, an entrepreneur who's passionate about enterprise. I want to know the bundles. It's English. They are fair. But the heat as well, yeah. But I'll go and buy them. Passionate about enterprise development and personal branding. Has a heart for small businesses. I've known him for more than 5 years. I've seen the work that he does with entrepreneurs. Practical, powerful, profitable. He's with us in the building to come and have the Mbawula Chat. Mr. Derrick, please can you ascend the stage? Please can you come on stage? Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's show some love. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Derrick Ndzavi. Please have a seat there. Come on. Entrepreneurs, Kagiso. Let's show some love, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Derrick Ndzavi. Bulelani. This Mbawula Chat will be facilitated by Bulelani, Mr. Get Things Done himself. Let's show some love for the facilitator. Labon. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's show some love. That's the energy I'm talking about. Mbawula Chat, it's about to get hot. Over to you, gentlemen.
Sure. Yeah, I thought so as well. Sanbona Nijani. This part of the today's program, this is what we then consider the inspirational part, because we had Sireleto coming in, unpacking a couple of things around digital marketing and the importance of. And I think it becomes very important that, especially if your business is going to die down or slow down during the festive season, take that time. Watch that 1 hour YouTube video on Facebook marketing. It's going to do you a world of wonder. Because one of the things, just to unpack on that, is you could either boost on the post itself, but it gives you limited reach. But when you take the 1 hour, go to Facebook and Google something called Facebook C-Suite, Business Suite. And how do I use that to amplify my business? There's a 1 hour and a half to 2 hour video. It's going to change how you operate from a Facebook perspective, but also, most importantly, how your campaigns perform in the growth of your business. And we had Usistoliswa, who really was just unpacking, I think, before sharing the tips, the importance of understanding the space that you are in. Are you a B2B customer? B2B means business to business. Most businesses by the 15th, 15th is now a holiday, but May 14, 13, there's not going to be anyone in the office. So to continue to send emails out won't be a good idea. So it's also important to understand your customers, because when you understand them, that then will also then frame how you plan. Babuya in Espanin, babuya January ngengaki. Yabona, mababuya ngithi kumele ba regroup, they need to strategize. You'll be sending emails, they'll be telling you we still need to have strat sessions, some executives are not available. So understand how your clients operate. And even if you're engaging B2C, which is business to customer, or thengisela umuntu direct, labantu abantu abanjani? Bazobe basebenza, bazobe bangasebenzi, i-product yakho yanini, ye-festive or esikhathi esinjani. Understand, because those things are very important, because they then frame what you do in December, and then they also then frame how you plan for January or Feb if your customers come back in Feb. But I've got an amazing gentleman on the platform. So the reason Mbawula Chat is, fireside chat, where we get to talk to an amazing individual, an amazing entrepreneur who's done extremely well in the entrepreneurial journey, right? One such entrepreneur has been in the entrepreneurial space for over 22 years. Has worked with thousands. He just doesn't mention it in his bio. But I mean, I always remind them, thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs, but he's worked with hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs over the years. He's walked the T journey with us. So from years and years ago when we started, these are some of the people that definitely guided us, taught us, and pushed us on excellence. But as if I don't know you, and as if majority of the people in the room don't know you, I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to these amazing entrepreneurs the way you would like. Because one thing I like about his bio, he says, I've worked with so many amazing entrepreneurs, but I just want to remind all of you guys that I don't have a jet yet. Let's give it up for Mr. Derrick Ndzavi.
Thank you, Mbawula, for introduction. And before I start talking, is there anyone who found money on the floor somewhere? 200 rand? No one? Because I was going to give you 50 rand for my 200 rand. Okay, yeah, let's get to business. My name is Derrick Ndzavi, as Mbawula has introduced me, and thank you, sir, for introducing me. And that's my name throughout social media. If you are on Twitter, Facebook, all the books that you may think about, it's the same name, but it's for the purpose. Because if you build a brand, if you create a brand, you need to have consistency on how you introduce yourself. I think Cyril also did mention that some you'd find that on Facebook, this is the language that they speak, and then on Twitter, this is the language that they speak. But in my case, across the board, that is the language that I speak. The other thing that I would like to say is congratulations to T, which has celebrated now 8 years or so. I think I noticed it in their pamphlet. And also to say thanks to Nedbank for making this possible. Reason being that we don't get too much of corporate that would want to plug into the township events. They would love you to, if you say you're going to something, where all the, billionaires are, that's when they want to partner with you. But if you say, I'm going to Kagiso, it becomes a challenge. So please, a big round of applause for Nedbank for putting money. I've got a story which I think it's a journey that I had with Mbawula when we met. It was quite interesting. We met in the church. I was going to the church in Nelspruit, and here comes this guy wearing a jacket, and he says, they say I must be your bodyguard or your usher today. I was with my wife. And I said, then why are you ushering us? No, I was assigned to you guys. So yeah, we just kept him around, running around, and when we needed anything, we just raised our hand and he would run quickly and come that. But that also speaks of servanthood, willing to serve other people if you want to be served in business. Willing to be available for other people if you want others to be available for you, which is very key. And I remember when he invited me to the festive, he said, hey, Chief, you know what? I think I've got a session that I want you to come and speak. And I just went there, and then I did speak. That was the first session, and I finished. And when I finished, I think I signed up 5 mentees to mentor for a period of 12 months. And they paid me for that, by the way. So I'm not saying today, please sign up, but if you feel that you need a mentor, I'm available. But yeah, now I've got a corporate job, as you said, but then it was a full-time mentoring and business advisory. But I recall one day when we were driving to, I think we went to, what was the event? Is it in, not Kagiso, in Carltonville, right? Where there were condoms in the venue, littered all over, so yeah, I think the place itself was not tidy, so they were used condoms. And I said, Mbawula, what kind of a venue is this? No, man, I'm not going to speak at your event again. The next time he invited me to a hotel. And I was like, oh, okay. So he had me. So we went to Bloemfontein in a beautiful hotel, I think. The only thing I did not like about it is that we drove in his car. I was expecting to fly, so we drove. But now the tricky part is that we're 3 men in the car, right? So if you have 3 men in the car and there's a funny smell, you don't know who to accuse. You just have to say, you know what? I hope it's not me. I hope it's not my shoes. What else could it be? And then from there, you know, when you've got some people like Mbawula and would say, no, I think we are passing some place with manure, you know, so that kind of I think we had a good time and we arrived. So that's the story with me and T, but also I would say that the story of my life as a business advisor, I've been doing it since the year 2000. I worked for Discovery Health. I'll mention them because they are not another bank. Oh, by the way, there's a but that side of things, not that side of things. Yeah, so I worked with the company in the medical aid space and for a period of, I think, for 6 months. 6 months. How I resigned, it's very simple. We were sitting in at the office, and here comes this gentleman, you know, a young man walking around. They say, that's the owner of the business. I said, what? They said, no, that's the owner. I think it was 32, 33, somewhere there. And I said, no, it can't be. Can't I own my own business? Then I left Discovery Health to start New Discovery Business Solutions. Just like that. Thank you for clapping. The clapping of hands is very scarce, I'm telling you. So it doesn't come along. Yeah, so when I started the New Discovery BS, guess what? My first bank account was with Nedbank. It's not a story. It's a real thing that happened. Because I did the research. I said, which bank would do better, you know, for a small business, supporting and all that? And I found Nedbank. And I think it was 3 years later, my account was closed because I could not make money anymore. I hope that maybe I will still get my bank account again. But yeah, that's what happened. My account was closed because I went broke in the business. And that is the journey of the business, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing for sure, you need to understand. How many minutes do I have, sir? Just to do a brief. Okay. Because I don't want to lose focus on what you called me for. One thing that I've realized with business is like a marriage. When you go into business, it's like you get married to somebody and you can't divorce no matter what happens. But a lot of entrepreneurs, they divorce easily from their businesses and they start something else. So some of you here would find that if you were marrying, you would have married 10 husbands by now or 10 wives by now. By the rate that you've been divorcing your businesses, your ideas. Why is it important to not divorce? You need to understand that in marriage, there are external factors that affect the business. And in as much as in the marriage where there are people, your relatives, your neighbors, your friends who would want to get involved in your operation, you don't quit your marriage because of that. But in most cases, as entrepreneurs, if you check the common reasons that made you quit your business is because the prices went up, I could not cope with the rent, I could not cope with that, I could not cope with that. But does that qualify you to divorce your business? No, it doesn't. So you have to stick with your business. I stuck with my business. Business advisor, when I started, I said, I want to be a business advisor, but how do I start? I need to register companies first. So you need to have a way to say, what is it that will bring business to my business? How will I sustain my business? Because imagine if I were to say I'm a business advisor and I meet you, you don't know me, and I say I'm a business, you would not sign up with me. But somebody that I registered their business and I saw their business grow from 0 to maybe 2 million, then those people can listen if I say I can advise you. So I had to be persistent. I think that was for almost 5 years, 6 years, until the 7th year or so. I said, you know what, let me go to social media space because I see this thing, it's working, but can't I do it differently? Can I look for market somewhere else? And I went to Twitter. I went to Facebook in 2009. I think I had 5,000 followers within 6 months or so. Reason being that I stuck to my content. My content has been business advisory always. And this speaks to somebody sitting here and say, I've got my business. I can't give you a free sample. I mean, today we got a sample here of spice, right? I'm going to give it to my wife. She's going to use it. And guess what? My wife will keep a paper and say, who's this person? Let me call these guys. Can they supply more? That's how it is. But he gave it for free today. So I was doing the same. On social media, I would dish out, good business advices and all that. And it was because sometimes there comes a journey in a business, you realize, I need to scale up. I need to scale up. Never ever get settled with the same amount that you are getting for a period of 3 years or 4 years and say, I'm okay. Why? Because the inflation will catch up with you. Because if you were selling the product for 200, even if you increase by 50 rand next year, the inflation would have doubled or increased tremendously. So you need to balance your business. You need to say, now where I am now, how do I move forward? And I looked around. Same day I opened Twitter account was the same day I opened Facebook account, but I was not saying anything on Twitter. In 2013, I said, no, I'm taking my content to Twitter. And guess what? I think in 5 years, I was having around 100,000 followers. It's the same content. And then today, I think I'm sitting around maybe 290,000 followers on Twitter. And then you still have LinkedIn. You still have all these platforms. But now here is the thing. Until you take yourself out there, nobody will acknowledge or recognize you. I know Bulelan, he worked with different sponsors, different partners, and some of them he went to knock at the door and he would call me and say, you know what, hey, those guys, they need a proposal, man. My man, they need a proposal. He used to call me dad. I think he still do that. You still call me dad, right? Thank you. So he would say, hey, they need a proposal, man. Can you put together something for me, man? I'm going there tomorrow. And then I would say, no, don't panic, man. Don't panic. Let's get there. And then, and then he would go there and some would decline and all that. To date, I wouldn't know how he got to partner with different sponsors, but I believe that part of it was how he put himself out there. Because somebody would listen to him on a radio. Because remember, the content that you dish out there about your business, your audience are not ordinary people. No. Ordinary people, influential people, affluent people, different categories of people. And the same that happened with me. When I came here today, I said, you know what? Because I'm sitting with 290,000 followers, let me wear a suit to go to event. You know why? Because somebody who's watching there is a billionaire somewhere in the US and wants to do business in South Africa. They've been struggling to get somebody who they can come to South Africa through. And guess what? When we finish it, they'll give me a call. They'll go to my LinkedIn and say, hey, Chief, I saw you speak at this event. Can I do business with you? We want to invest in South Africa. I mean, when I started, I was doing South Africa and all that. And I'm so, I would say by the grace of God today, I can bill in dollars. Because somebody from Canada would say, I need a business advisor. I saw your clip somewhere and I want to do business in South Africa. And then they would contact me. But that also speaks to the brand loyalty. If you stick to your brand and you are loyal with your brand, trust me, you will see a lot of things happening in your business. But the problem is with most entrepreneurs, you are not loyal with your brand. But not only your brand, you need to be loyal with your partner's brand. If I say I'm partnering with you, I need to understand what are your brand values. Do I cherish them? Do I appreciate what you do and your services? That is very important also. So yeah, I think from there, I would now work with the government, and then they call me and say, please, can you come and do mentorship? And guess what? When they come to you, never ever step into opportunity without doing further research. If somebody comes to you and say, we want to do business with you, go to, I think Cyril just spoke about it, go to GPT chat, and say, hey, Chief, let's talk. How can I deliver to the government? What kind of a proposal can I send to the government? And that's how you do it. And then you improvise, you improve. And some of you would find that your website, your profile, it's static. Since you developed it 5 years ago, nothing has changed. Such that even your address has not changed, yet you have moved to 20 addresses since then. But when you go to website, nothing is changing. It's just static. So we need to make sure that we upgrade ourselves. So when I got opportunity, I first check who is this client, how are they profiled, and then how can I profile myself? So meaning that your profile itself should not be one for everybody. No. You need to look. Even if they call you today and say, we need your profile tomorrow, you need to first check the company that needs my profile. The one that I've got, will it align with them? If not, change it at that time and send one that will speak to their brand and to their product. That's very key. So yeah, and along that, you need to focus much on your personal branding. It's very important. I mean, when Tsireloto stood up, no one doubted that he's in camping. Why? The way he's dressed. You can tell this guy, is from the bush, right from the bush, baby, coming straight here. That is his brand. That's how he is. That's how he is. So you need to also focus on that and say, this is my brand, but how do I position myself personally to make it work for me? Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm where I don't even know how I got there, because I've been a business advisor, and the company Institute of Business Advisors Southern Africa was looking for somebody who can run the organization, and they looked around and said, you know what, we think we have the right person. But it could not have happened also. I'll tell you why. If I did not take membership of associations and professional bodies serious. Because a lot of people, you are into engineering, you are into tourism, you are into different business, but you don't belong to any association. How will they know about you? Because when you belong to association, guess what? Tomorrow they call you and say, we are looking for a committee that will head marketing. You become part of that committee. The next time they're looking for this, you become a voice in that organization. When opportunities come, you are the first preference because they see how you served the organization. So you need to belong. I think Sarah just spoke about it again to say you need to comply. You need to belong to the body. Because some you'd find that you lose an opportunity because you did not register with association or you are not belonging to a database. You can't expect them to work out magic. They want to see your record. Right. But also, when you belong to a body, you're saying, I'm credible enough. You can use me, you can report me anywhere. If I mess up, I'm accountable. So you need to look at it from that angle. So yes, I belong to the association, which was a business advisor, Southern Africa, and I belong to others. You talk about your Institute of Directors and all that, because I'm still passionate to sit in the board, and which I've done already, sit in the board, and I know that's why I did not even bother to talk to Tsireloto, because I know that after this I'm going to send him a good CV and say, listen, Chief, I can serve in your board. That's how it is. Because that's about marketing and selling yourself and promoting yourself. So, in short, as I'm sitting today, I'm heading the Institute of Business Advisors, Southern Africa, where we have business advisors all over South Africa and all over the world. But my role is just to make sure that things are done properly, they comply, and we move forward and as it is. And I think Bulelan has been saying he's going to register as a business advisor. I'm still here to see his application. Can you send it through? Thank you.
Hey, let's give Mr. Derrick a round of applause. I want to answer, but I'm not going to answer. How many people picked up some great nuggets being shared in this moment right now? Because you see, a couple of nuggets for me that stand out is, we're often in corners, in private spaces, we say, blacks are lazy. And then we say, Batubakokasi are lazy. But I don't know a lazy person who sits in 30 degrees sun to get information. Because it's scorching hot. But all I'm seeing is young people, Kagiso, some have come from other parts of Gauteng are here, It's definitely not laziness. I think for me, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at breadwinners, but most importantly, I'm looking at employers. So the nugget that stands out for me in terms of what Mr. Derrick has just mentioned now is show up. Because one of the first things that stood out for me when I met him many, many years ago, and he guided me through a lot of things. He showed up into spaces. He consistently showed up in spaces. Over the years, I met a lot of people that would ask, how do you know this? How do you know this gentleman? Because you show up in spaces. When I met this gentleman was years ago, and what stood out is everything that he spoke about now. You know, being consistent with the brand and consistently growing your business. But, you know, I've got a question. You know, most cases, what I've realized is, I mean, from our data, you know, majority of small businesses are on Facebook, you know. And you consistently ask small businesses, take the time out and post, but they won't post. They won't put themselves out, whether it's posting on social media or it's going to knock, looking for opportunities, right? Either because of rejection, you know, I only got 2 likes and the sort. What would be your advice for an entrepreneur to work around that rejection or that desire to get numbers gratification, right? I mean, Cyril Little spoke about it. It was so beautiful in how he said it, you know. You put out a post, 2 people like, you go to the stories, 50 people like. You can only imagine how many other people like, keep seeing your content, but they won't tell you. But we then become discouraged and putting the content out, and it feels like I-sebenzi. So we then stop before it's time. So how can you advise these amazing entrepreneurs in the room to stay the course, as difficult as it is? Because you've stayed the course, and you see, I look at you in what you've done. I look at how you've grown your brand. I look at some of the brands you work with, and I feel like, I want to be where you are now. But it probably takes me doing some of the things, you know, you've done. Please answer.
Okay. I think that there are a number of things that you need to understand. When you approach me and say you're selling something today, I'm not going to respond today. I can respond to what you sold me today in 6 months' time. There is one thing you will never predict is the consumer behavior. You can't predict that. You meet this client, they are excited, they jump and buy your product just like that. And you ask yourself, wow, I was so poor in even selling this product, but this guy just bought it just like that. You meet somebody without even selling, they see your product, they just say, you know what, can I buy that? But you meet somebody, you are sure that they would love your product and they say, no, that's nothing. Or some they just hold it and criticize it. Right. So what you need to do is, you need to have a marketing plan in place. There's a business plan and there's a marketing plan. The marketing plan is where you go to details and say, when I go to the event, we make sure we print the caps. Everybody must wear our caps. So that when they appear on social media, T must be all over. That's a marketing plan. It's part of the marketing plan. It falls in the marketing strategy that you need to develop as a business. Once you have that, you will not be affected by the response and reaction that you get from the market because you are sticking to the plan that you have already written. So when you start walking the journey, your plan must have goals that says, in the next 3 months, this is what we're going to do. Should the business not be favorable, what do we need to review and change? So if you advertise today on social media, nobody responds, nobody says anything. I remember when I went to Twitter, the reason why I went back to Facebook and focused there, because the same year, when you tweet, you don't even get 1 like. You go to bed, you wake up, it's still 0. Now you must tweet again. And guess what, ne? Then your tweets are like aligned, 15 tweets, nobody said anything, then you start deleting the first one. But let me tell you something. You need to also understand how many people am I speaking to. I think Cyril just mentioned it to say, for all the people who are following you, only 3% are being reached out. And unless you boost, then you may reach a lot, but if not, and also please be careful. This thing of saying when you boost your, I've heard it a lot. Somebody said, yeah, I've boosted, but hey, You know, Facebook, the people that I see there are your Maharaj, your, Nasim, some of them you can't even, are they South Africans? I know. Maybe Facebook is just, getting people just to like your things and all that. But you need to understand, Facebook, it's in a business also. In as much they would want to boost your page also, but they know that it will reach other people that may be South Africans from other people's accounts. So you don't have to be discouraged by that. But also, even if you have not posted your thing, it's more like you're selling. There are people that will come back to you because they see you in the same spot, saying the same message and promoting the same product. And when they come, they say, but this guy, he tried to sell me this. So it means it's genuine. If he's still here after 6 months, I'm going to buy from him. And when they come, don't expect them to come and praise you and say, congratulations, you've been consistent in advertising, so now I can buy from you. No. They will even act like they are strangers. They don't know about you. Have you ever met somebody and you say, hey, you know what, do you know me? Do you know who I am? And they said, no, I don't know. I've never heard about you. That's how it is. And some they may know you but ignore you. That's how it is. So you just, I think a lot has been said about being humble also. You have to be humble. You have to be humble. You have to be humble if you want to reach out to clients as much as you can. So for me, I think be consistent, but have a plan of what consistency is all about. And also, if I don't know how many of you listen to radio, right? And you hear a DJ or a presenter say, we have a question. What do you think about the crime in South Africa? And for 30 minutes, not even one person call. One person call. And guess what they do after 30 minutes? They may change the topic. Why? Because they realize this doesn't work. So there are things that may not work. You have to dish them out. Don't get stuck into something that doesn't work and say, no, this is what we said we're going to do. Because somebody told you your colors sucks. And you refuse to change them. You said, no, I'm going to stick. This is my logo, And since you put that Chweni, because your surname is aligned with Chweni, people don't buy that because it doesn't align to them. But you need to review and assess everything that you do in business. It's a journey. In a journey, you look for which one is a shortcut, which one is a long cut. If I take this one, will I get there still? Yes, let me take this one. So that is the same with business. But let me tell you, if you are consistent, after 6 months, after 12 months, you will start to see your business turn around. And when the business does that, sometimes it can be very spontaneous and it can be very speedily, how it happens. And if you are not also ready with your systems, your processes, your business can still collapse because of more clients, because you can't service them. You keep on taking deposits, and from there you are in the media. You are in Speak Out. It took my money. Those people, they started with good intention, but the overwhelming of the business, they did not balance the growth of the business. And they end up not delivering on the promises. Thank you, sir.
Round of applause. And the reason why that's important is we've often thought or sometimes even think that not having the right sort of cash flow is a problem. Having too much cash flow is a problem. Having too many clients is a problem. Because if your client book grows quicker than the systems that you have in place, your business is going to collapse. And I think it's unintentional. I mean, I know a number of entrepreneurs we work with, and you sit with them and you ask them, but, you were on whoever's show, you're being called a scammer. I know you. What went wrong? We took on too much. We grew too quick. We put the proposition out, but we didn't put the systems in place to support us. So sometimes when we think about putting the systems in place, we think about these big things, But what can a small business practically do? I'm small, I'm selling clothes. I don't know when I'm going to turn that curve, where I'm making 10,000 Rand a month, thanks to, I'm getting 100,000 Rand order. I don't know when I'm going to make that curve. So to me, in my head, it becomes difficult to plan for that curve. I'm selling a makota. It's business as usual, but one day, bam, Siroleta says we've got a camp, Kai, our clients are looking for this specific menu, we need 1,000 of whatever it is that you produce. So this good thing now turns into a bad thing. How can I prepare for these things so that I stop being a business owner who's reactive? You know, the only time I update my compliance documents is when, you know, I need to apply for opportunities, but, you know, text clearance. You know, when I'm engaging with big organizations and I need to sort out compliance, it's reactionary. You know, how do I prepare and plan for that in your view?
Yeah, I think there was something that Kagiso said, which I think Sbu, where is he? He did come up with SOT, if you recall what he said, which had to do with operation, which had to do with a number of things in it. When you start a business, you have a product and service. You have operation. You have systems. When you look at your business, these three must grow together. They must be aligned as they grow. So a lot of people can have a product, a good product. They run with the product when there are no systems on the ground. If you do that, the chances are that the sales will go out there. You're going to make a lot of money. But in 3 months' time, the business that was making a lot of money can even collapse. Because you were not balancing your growth. So you need to say, if I'm going to run this business, I think Charles did mention that now he's employing, I think, 9 people or so, or somewhere there, 19 people. But if you check, you'd find that he did not start today and employ 19 people today and say, let's go, we are starting the business. No, unless if you are selling, maybe you do multi-level marketing and all that. Maybe you can do that. But if you're going to build a business, you need to look at either, is this business, should I build it organically? Should I measure and see at what point should I get to this? At what point should I get this? There are certain things when you start as an entrepreneur, you do it alone, right? You become an accountant, you become the one placing the order, you become the one who's calling the client, you become the one who's making follow-up. And if you are not careful, you can be obsessed with that the business will not grow because you can't allow other people to work. You can't trust other people around you. So as you build your business and your product is growing and your business is growing, look at what skills I don't have that I can incorporate into my business for my business to move to the next level. If you can't have them internally, just get somebody that you can hire and consult with them, and then you work with them, and then they continue to do the work for you or assist you in your business. There are a lot of good businesses that they know how to do marketing of the product. That if you were to look for them and say, help me, they can take your business to the next level. But you don't know because you think you're good in marketing, but you're not. Because if you were good in marketing, sales should speak the same language. But your sales, you're selling every day, you're doing all those things, but you end up even giving 10 actually discounts, a lot of discounts. When you go to the robot and you want to buy something, now I know. If I stop, somebody says 40 rand, I just drive a bit and say, no, don't go. Please, do you have 20 rand? Then I buy it for 20 rand, But that's not how business is. Because now you ask yourself, if you're going to discount your product by 50%, where is your profit? It's either you are scamming me or you don't know your business. So these are the things that I think are balancing. But also, which is very key is, you can't trace what you can't record. Forget it. If you give me something for free today, you need to know, today I handed out 10 items which are costing me 200 rand. So where will I replace this money? Do I write it as a loss or do I write it as part of my marketing? That is how it is. But a lot of us, we are running business, we don't even know how, we don't even keep record. And some of us, we are doing consulting you can't tell me how many hours, even a pilot, ladies and gentlemen, a pilot, for you to get another job or to drive a bigger or to fly a bigger machine, they want to check how many hours did you accumulate here for you to move to the next level. Meaning that every day when he stops the flight, he records his hours and say, this is how many hours I've worked and all that. And a lot of people, unfortunately, Balabala, they are focused too much on the pricing of the product. but there is no labor in that product. You ask a person and say, how much do you sell this product? It tells you, no, I'm selling this product for 1,600. How much do you get it for? No, I get it for 1,200. Now, you are the one who's going around selling this product and all that. How much is your labor on each and every item? Because for every product that you have, you need to know what percentage goes towards labor, what percentage goes towards rental. So everything is, you have to cost it from one item. That will assist you that if you are not making it, if you are not selling, you will know that if I can't sell 20 items, I won't pay rent. Because you can't expect 1 or 2 items to pay the rent for 20 items. So you need to keep your record in your business. That will assist you to grow and to measure your growth also.
You know, if there's okay, sure. You know, if there's one thing, okay, since you're clearing these up, I don't think you remember this, but we hosted a workshop years ago in Rabasut, and the conversation was around pricing. So he mentioned something that now jogged my memory to what he said on that day. If you're going to give a customer a discount, let it not be a verbal discount. So if you are in the business and you are invoicing your customers and your service is 10,000 Rand and you are going to give them 5,000 Rand off, the invoice must show. So if the invoice must still invoice 10,000 Rand and at the bottom, discount 5,000, grand balance 5,000. And the reason for that is so that they don't assume that your service was actually 5,000. So that they consistently, and you've got a record that says, I've already provided you with the same service 5 times for 5,000 Rand. But even from day one, I told you that my price is 10,000. So I can't deliver for the 6th time because my price is my price. I don't know if do you remember that?
Actually, you're reminding me. And I remember, I remember exactly how it was. Yeah, I still remember.
But now, you know, I think then I'll ask one last question. Then I'll open up to the floor. Then I'll hand over to Spoo. We do the winner announcements and we have some food. Yeah. What is the importance of, how important is having a mentor? And equal to that, how do I'm trying to say find, but how do I find, you know, how do I, not find, but how do I identify? You know, because I think sometimes there's a big challenge in identification because sometimes I feel like we limit identification to he looks like he's successful. He looks like he's driving a big car. He looks like he's winning awards. His looks like 1, 2, 3, and then we miss the mark. So how do I identify the right people? And I think it's sort of a big question. It's a fat question. It's kind of like it's a big question. So my last to that is, since then, how do I then maintain? Once this person has given me their time and I'm paying them for their time, how then do I then maintain this powerful relationship?
Okay. Yeah, that's very key, because a lot of people are sitting with their admirers and they call them their mentors. Somebody you like and you see how they're successful they are and you just say, hey, can you mentor me? He said, no, chill, I will do that, you know. And here you come to my office, then I'm sitting there with my toy car on the table and say, wow, how did you make it? And I start to tell you, no, don't worry, Mfana. You're going to make it too, you know. And before we know it, I take you to my car, you know, to my, 4-piped car. We drive on the road and then, I take off and then you say, you see now. And then from there we come back and say, wow, I was with this guy, yo. And it becomes a story, not a mentorship. So you need to understand when you say you are looking for a mentor. Let's say you want to go to tourism, for example. You have to look around and say, who is successful in the industry? Oh, okay, I see Tshireletso, he said he's successful. You know what, Tshireletso, I'm sure Tshireletso, I think during the break, you'd find that there are those who might have come and say, hey, I want you to help me, and all that. But now the question would be, is Tshireletso having the time to help you? Will he make that time? Is that his business that he does? No, it's not. But if you come to me, because I am a business advisor, and you say to me, please, can you mentor and advise me? Now you say to me, I want to go into hospitality. I now go to my checklist and say, who is in hospitality that I can connect you with? So a mentor may be there to connect you than to anything else. With opportunities, number one, but also with people that know how things are done on the ground. So you as your mentor could be to monitor the relationship that you may have between the person that I've connected you with. But also as a mentor, the kind of mentor you need to understand, is there any track record, sir, that you can show me that you have done this, For me, I don't have to struggle to show you a track record. When you call me anytime, I just tell them, do you know Bulelani? Yes, that's my mentee. Do you know so-and-so? Yes, that's my But I know, I never had a formal relationship with Bulelani to say, pay me the money. But for what it did for me, day one when we met, I felt, I owe this guy something. So whenever he needs help, I'll be available for him. But if he's a reference that I can make, also, don't make fake references. I say, hey, I helped so-and-so. Do you see that guy there? Do you see Flamingo? Yes. No, you know what? I've been mentoring him. No, because people will verify. And when they go to Flamingo and say, do you know John? Who's John? No, there's a guy who said he mentored you. Hey, when? So you need to, but also a mentor must show proficiency, efficiency, and must show that they know what they're doing. If you sit with the mentor, first time you go to a mentor and say, hey, become my mentor, and this person does not even have a diary in front of them or recording or anything, just be skeptical. How will you remember what we spoke about now? Next time when we meet, how are we going to set our goals, our targets, our objectives in that relationship if there's no record that is being kept? Otherwise, it's just a talk. And when we finish, you will come back again after 6 months. Hey, Chief, you remember I told you about that thing? Yes, I remember. Konje, which date was it? No, the date, no. If you come to a real mentor, he will open the diary and say, or she will open the diary and say, oh, yes, we met on this day. It's more like a doctor consulting. You must have a track record, and you must ask for those records. If there was a meeting that took place, you must ask for the minutes to say, and there must be a report about your progress, to say, how is your progress? And some of the institutions, they would want to know, who's your mentor? What kind of mentorship are you getting? What kind of advice are you getting? So it's important that when you choose for a mentor, but also be prepared to pay. I think I'll use this word. You see, a lot of entrepreneurs, you need services, but you tend to walk away because of the price. You come to an accountant, you need a service, he tells you, no, I will need a retainer fee of 3,000 per month. Instead of saying, listen, I can afford 1,000, and when the business does well, can I increase it? No, what do you? It's not about what you want. It's about what your business wants. And if what your business does not get what it wants, it will collapse. That's how it is. So you can walk away and think, what, but your business needs that service. The same with mentors. Some you'll go, I know there are some that there are people who paid around 150,000. There was that story. And to one of the guys from the US, and he came, they paid 150,000, said, I'm going to mentor you and all that. And all that he will do is to call them once a week. Hey, how are you doing, buddy? Are you good? How's the business? And that's it. That's it. That's it. And also, have your own program to say, what do I want? The same way that we're doing the judges here, the adjudication. There were questions that were asked to say, what do you want to do with money? Why do you need this money? We are looking at that. If you don't answer that particular question, I might not score you because you did not answer the question that was in the score sheet. So the same with mentorship. If you say you are looking for a mentor, make sure that you've got a list of saying, mentor, I'm looking for you to mentor me, but these are the areas where I need help with. Can you cover this area? If a mentor is honest, they will tell you, no. Those areas, I'm not good with financials. can I refer you to somebody that can do that for you? But if you get somebody who just want money, they say, no, don't worry. And all that they do, they go to Google. So they will advise you while Googling. While you're sitting there, Google, no, for that one, this is how it's going to happen. And then from the things that you could have done yourself. One thing that may be the difference between doing online search and all that for information and working with somebody that you can sit with face-to-face is the person that you may sit face-to-face may have network behind them. You can sit with me. I already know which company can use your product or buy from you, which bank can I introduce you, and which institutions can I take you to by hand because I know the MD of that company, or somebody I serve with them in the board. So also the influence of the kind of person that you want to work with is very important because don't need help to somebody that you're in the same level. Because at the end of the day, it's like, this person can't even refer me to even one, just a potential client. Even if it's not, they don't take my business, but at least let me get that. So that's why it's important. If you feel you don't need a mentor, at least set up a board of directors for your company. Because then you will get 5 people in one, five advices. Actually, one advice, 5 advices from 5 people same time. And all that you pay them quarterly, maybe 3,000, thank you for coming to the meeting. You agree with them and say, as the business grow, guys, you'll be seeing, then I'll increase the rate that we agree on. People are hungry for this boardship because it works for them. So that also can work for you. So you don't have to get one person to sit down with. You can set up a board, or you can set up a team of advisors without them, being a board. If I need this, I'll go to this one. But you have a relationship that you have established with them. You tell them, no, I don't need your time. But as long as I know that if I need this, I'll come to you. Are we agreed? Yes. Then you sign down, then you move on, and you work together. That's how it can be. Thank you.
Round of applause. Any questions? Anyone who's got a question? Shoot from the hip. The lady, I'll take up at 4. 4 questions, we wrap up, I give to Sbu, pitch announcement, we eat. So what I'm then going to ask, okay, I've got the lady at the back, I've got the gent here, I've got the lady here. There's a lady there. There, yeah, that's all. Please come this side, man. Please come, stand here, Sbu has the mic, ask away.
Please, if I owe you, just see me outside. Don't say, what's wrong, Kolot?
How are you?
Repeat.
Test mic. 1, 2.
Derrick.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, some of us, we come a long way, I get.
Yeah.
Luisa Galerato, Nakedi. Yeah, some of us, the business entrepreneurship, COVID happened and we went under. I'm just giving just a bit of my story.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been an entrepreneur for the past 10 years. I started in 2013. There's no pitch that I've not done. I've done, I think, most of the pitches. Business is a real thing. And thank you so much for, again, T, for coming. Kagiso. So, even as you're an entrepreneur and you're making millions, when something comes into your location, you need to be there and represent. The name of my company is called Purple Esther. I used to do workwear for women, but now the business happened and it went under. Now I'm in the space arts and culture. So my questions is this: we spoke about mentorship. As I spoke, I've been in business for the past many donkey years. And what happens when you go under? Because of, I think the reality sometimes people don't understand is that you do go under, even if you could have best practices, processes, and. But then, can you just give us an encouragement of how do you bring yourself back to the hustling and bustling of it? Yeah, please.
Okay. I once said something which to say you can drown even if they are handing you a rope to hold on to. Because you don't know how to tie yourself with a rope. So there are certain scenarios that would be that before you get into trouble, you must know what to expect in your business. In as much as there are businesses that went under during COVID, but there are those that had cash reserves to rise up again, right? So some you'd find that they failed to budget. Some they spent all the money they were making and they could not save for their business in the event something happens, right? And we need to understand it is not COVID only that would have happened, the biggest event or the biggest thing ever. We have war that's happening around us. A lot of things are happening. What is it that in our mind are we planning towards or against what may happen? Imagine if today you told yourself, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen, but can I save with the bank or have a good record with the bank so that if anything happens after 6 months or in 6 months' time, I can rush there and get the money and just get my business going. But you said something, Nagil, that there are external factors in business that it doesn't matter how good you are in your business, that they will affect you. That one we can't run away from. In as much as good whoever is, or the mall has been there, but because the mall's closed, how many shops have closed down because there were no customers to come and buy from you? So to mitigate that for me, there is no better answer than saving for the future. Knowing that if something happens, I've got something to lean on to. When you are employed, there's a saying that when you're employed, at least have a 3-month salary to keep you going, if in case you get retrenched, right? The same with business. You have to say, in as much as I'm making, because there are times where in business it goes so well that you can even think of buying the last number of a car. Unfortunately, some they go for that instead of thinking of investment, can still go for the last number in a car. So you need to ask yourself, what is it that I've got in place to mitigate should anything happen against my business? Because there is no amount of, a mentor will come and comfort you. You go to psychologists, they will comfort you, but they can't turn around your business because these things are external factors. But if you have some reserves, cash reserves in your business, and that is one thing, please strive for it. Strive for that. Make sure for every cent that you make in your product, you need to know 10% will go towards my saving from one product. And if you do that from every product you sell and make, you'll make sure that you put that money aside. Before you know it, come year end. And please, if you save the money, it's not for December. No. Yes, you must have money for December, but there is money for business. Money for business remains money for business. Money for December, even if you go to holiday and spend 40,000, if you plan for it, good for you. As long as the business will still have its own 40,000 aside. Never ever spend in business with a hope of getting money next month. Spend in business with the hope of saving today for tomorrow. Not because there is this client who promised me, they said they are coming to buy, so I'm going to spend this money because I know this money will come. No, it doesn't work that way. So the only way to mitigate any eventuality is to make sure that you've got cash reserves that you can keep going when things get tough. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Refilo, and I'm the founder of Orchard Sneaker Services. What we do is we clean sneakers, so all of you here are my clients. Just come and see me when I'm done. So my question is there really much of a difference between a mentor and a coach? And when choosing a coach or a mentor, do you go based on what you are lacking in your business? Let's just say you have a limited budget. You can't just ask everyone to come at the same time. Do you go based on what you are lacking at the same time on your business, or how do you go about? What are the ticks that you need to tick when you're choosing a mentor?
Okay. That question I get a lot, and like, okay, is there a mentor? Is there a coach? You know, how do you different the two? I think to answer that question, you will see what the government did. There was one Department of Education at some point in South Africa, right? But then it became separated to say there is a higher education and there is the other one that's run by the different ministry. Why? Because you'd find that lecturers and teachers were bundled into one category. You understand? So in most cases, a mentor is the one that may work with you on day-to-day needs and activities that you may have and the requirements that you may have. But a coach is somebody that would just give you a highlight and say, you know what, what's your problem? No, this is the problem that I'm having in my business. No. Go and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can come back to me. You see? So the difference may not be that big, but a mentor is somebody that even if you were to call anytime, may still do. But we have those who are playing dual role or those who are doing both without understanding. Where do they fall under? So it is important to understand that I'm looking for a mentor, somebody that will help me. If I say I need you to review my business plan, I don't want somebody that would say, no, you know what, go and look at 1, 2, 3. No, I need somebody that can sit with me and show me and say, you know what, this is what we can do, this is what we need to do. The other question, I think it was more on what is it that you need to look for or that you need to tick. I did mention to say, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to mentor looking for advisor, you need to know which area I need advice on. Never waste time on something that you already know, you already master. You know that you are lazy to open the shop. You don't need a mentor to tell you open the shop on time. No. So there are certain things you know I need to deal with myself. There are certain life skills, survival skills. Like I gave you an example of a rope. Somebody can drown even if they throw a rope and say, please hold the rope. Just because this person did not have a basic skill of how to. Some can drown because they don't know how to hold their breath. And this is a simple thing that we did for 9 months. So there are certain things that when you look at, there are basic skills that you need to have yourself before you can say, I need help. You need to say, how can I help myself on this area and this area? DIY. Then from there, you can know this, then I need help with from somebody else. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sanbonani.
Yeah, boy.
And I'm 19 years old. I have a clothing business, 2 beautiful local brands. So if you are into Stalo, Magenge, screw, feel free to contact me. My question is that as a young entrepreneur, I need a lot of mentorship, and the first thing that I run to is the school of YouTube. If anything I lack, I just go to YouTube. But sometimes I don't get like full information on how to apply that to my business. I don't even know how to apply to it. So I heard you mentioning that if you want a mentor, you must know who to go to and what do you need for your business and how the mentor should help you. So I also want to know, because you said we must pay how you do. So I would like to know how much it goes and how would you advise a young entrepreneur, even if YouTube doesn't work, any place you can go to without, like, if you don't have money to pay the mentor?
Okay. I think I just want to answer that question in a very robust way and trying to find a correct answer to that question. Sometimes it becomes difficult to find what you're looking for if you are not sure what you're looking for. Right. If you know that you're, like you mentioned something very important to say, my brand is local. Bravo. It's a clothing brand, right? It's local, right? And then the question I have is, what about somebody in China? Wouldn't they want to buy your product? What about somebody in the US? I mean, I saw, was it Michelle Obama wearing Matkosa, something in one of the clip? I mean, we have seen Rihanna wearing something from somebody. How did that product get there? The chances are that there are certain aspects of your business that you may need to learn first, be it marketing or how to promote your brand and your product, before you can say, I need to listen to somebody to tell me. So before you listen to YouTube on how to do it, there are certain things that you have to say, from my own strategic planning alone, when I'm alone. By the way, there are a lot of people who tell you, oh, when I'm alone, the ideas that come, or when I'm driving, or when I'm in a shower, or in a, it's because that is when you are alone. No one is distracting you. And ideas can come and flourish. So one thing you need to do, never ever, everything that comes to mind relating to your product, write it down. Because that way you'll be self-teaching yourself. Because the people that are on YouTube teaching others, they first had to teach themselves and convince themselves that this can work. Now I can share it with everybody else. So what you need to do is follow the content. Don't take it from their higher pitch. Start with the basics first when you go on YouTube. Look for the basics content. Look for the simplicity. And then grow with it, such that you can listen to the high-pitched content. Because if you start with high-pitched content, you would feel like 3 minutes, you were listening for 3 hours. But it was just 3 minutes. Now, in terms of getting a mentor or an advisor, I think I did say a lot here, is that you need to identify people that have skills and experience in that space, and then you can approach them. Yes, others will charge you. In terms of charging, it depends. If you come to me, I need to check your books, your business first. Where is it? If you're a startup, you don't even have 50,000 in the bank account. The fees will not be the same with somebody who won 1 million from Nedbank. Why is it that? I need to explain that. Because for every revenue that you make, you have allocation for every service that you need. So it means that if you won 1 million, you tell yourself 7% of 1 million goes towards a consultant or goes towards consultants. And all the consultants will share this 7%. So meaning that from your 1 million, 70,000 you can allocate towards self-development, education, mentorship, advisory, and other services. So then the fees may differ. But I can't come to you, who doesn't even make 70,000, and say, I need 70,000 from you. So it is important that you need to understand that most of even if you go to architect, and you say you want a house, you want to build a house worth 30 million, they will tell you, no, we charge 7% to do the architectural work, or some they would say 15, some will say what. So it means that if the house is worth 30 million, you're going to pay around 30, I don't know, I'm not good with maths, please. But whatever, 3 million or I think 7 million towards the architectural. So the same with mentorship. It may not be the same. So it has to, I don't know, many of you would have seen that Nedbank is advising this corporate in acquisition and all that, and you check on their bank balance, on their balance for that service, you'd find that they say they paid 70 million, that company, just to be advised on how to enter into mining or how to acquire a certain mine. When you check on the invoice, it was the same thing, advising. But the invoice is different because it goes with the quantity of work and the fees that are involved in the process. Thank you.
Motlompir, I don't know if I missed this in your presentation, but my question is on...
Because you were taking a video on my phone. It's
probably. So my question is on protecting the gates. As mentors, you go around inflicting a lot of education on entrepreneurs. How do you make sure that once you've retired as a full-time mentor, that your teachings continue to strive? How do you make sure that when you pass on, your teachings continue to strive? I'm asking this because you find a lot of entrepreneurs saying, hey, man, my mentor has passed on. I get to quit because that guy can't. So my question is on that, on protecting the gate. How do you make sure that your teachings continue to strive even in your absence?
Yeah, and to answer that question, I think we need to understand that some people pass on even when they are not dead. Okay. Some people pass on even when they are not dead. Why am I saying this? You need to maintain relationship. If at the early stage of T, I was there, but I did not maintain contact and relationship with Bulelane, I would not be here today. I would be dead, literally. In his books, I would be dead. So sometimes it's not about somebody having died or passed on, because it's rare for them to. But sometimes it's where you need to understand, when you say mentorship, it's not forever. You need to agree, is it for 3 months? Is it for 6 months? Is it for 12 months? Or is it for 3 years? After that period, you need to redefine your relationship. So how I do normally is, I will sign up with you for 12 months or for 24 months. When I finish, I will allow a cool-off period. And after cool-off period, I can come back and be a director in your company. Meaning that now you've got me for life. You see? So why cool-off period? Because sometimes a mentor may develop a business interest in your business and mislead you because they have interest in your business. It does happen. Some they say, I'm your mentor and all that, and before you know it, a person now come back at the next meeting because he sees how your business is doing and say, hey, Chief, I want to buy shares in your business. And you ask yourself, but you were my advisor. So it means that now you've got a business interest, you are no longer my advisor. So you need to check those things. People who develop interest in your business more than you, such that they even mislead you, or such that they want to do things to make more money, it doesn't work that way. For me, if I meet with you, even if you make 100 million, I'll tell you straight, this is my fee, that's where it ends. So that I can be neutral in advising you. But after that, then I can buy into your business, I can invest in your business, but I would have served the purpose that I came for. That when I become now part of the shareholding, it means that we must look for another advisor, but not at my level, because you need to upgrade. You can't have the same advisor at the same level. And that's why with me, if you come to me and say, I met this guy, is good, I will say, let's go and meet with him. And I'll go with you. And I'll appreciate and say, listen, thank you for helping this man, but can work together. This is how far I've gone. Can you take it further? That's how it is. If you have a mentor who wants to hold on to you, that when you talk to other people, then he gets angry and say, why were you having that guy? Why were you talking to that guy? Yeah, you said you want me to mentor you. Then that person is not ready. It's not a mentor. Thank you.
Unmute. Thank you so much for that. This then concludes our engagement. But just one last thing, just a short thing. What's your advice for entrepreneurs going into the festive season, looking at planning into the new year?
Yeah, that's a question that I normally would write an article every year end about it, to say, never ever go into a new year with a new plan when the old plan did not work and you did not even work on it. What's the use? What's the use? If something you tried did not work because you were sick or there was some inconveniences, go back to it and re-look at it. Because in every business, you need to have at least a period of 3 months where alone you revisit your strategy, 6 months where you review your strategy, then annually where you get the whole team to work with you. But you as a founder, you must have that continuous review. So there are things that did not work this year. You don't have to add more burden and load on top of another. Rework on them, re-engineer them, realign them into new dates and see if you can achieve them. Yes, you can add new stuff, but work on what did not work. What you have achieved, celebrate. What you have not, please make sure that you... I always say this, that, every winner, every winner that you see today has been a loser many times.
Let's give Mr. Derrick a round of applause. And that right there concludes our conversation. Thank you so much. But before you leave the stage, we just need you to take a picture here.
Take a picture, I put down.
Yeah. Please prepare the gift for me. And thank you so much, guys, for staying the course.